Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Rider Review brought to you by 13K Productions after I believe it was 31-9 beatdown of the Hamilton Tiger Cats by your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Let's, start with my pregame thoughts. Heading into the game, I was hoping that the Riders would just go in there and lay an absolute slacking on the Tiger Cats, and so did my dad. But issue is we didn't think it would happen, and I don't think anybody did either, because let's be honest, the Tiger Cats are one of the top teams in the CFL, and they were heading into this game against the Saskatchewan Roughriders in what was probably the marquee matchup of the CFL this week. Now, throughout that first quarter, it did not look promising at all. Let's say it how it was. That first quarter looked very disappointing in terms of the Saskatchewan Roughriders play, both offensively and defensively. Obviously we didn't catch a break with the penalties. That one brutal pass interference call on Tavon Campbell was so dumb. That was the dumbest penalty call I have ever seen. You're going to allow Lawler to hand fight and then essentially have Tavon react and hand fight too. And you're going to throw a penalty on that? Like, give me a break. Give me a break. But it only ended up in it being bend as far as you possibly can and do not break, and that's what happened with the Riders. They bent as far as they possibly could, and they didn't break. There were field goals scored. Obviously there was no touchdowns, so that's a positive. You can look at it that way. But that first quarter was not good at all, and it even showed in the flaws. Harris's ball, like when he threw the ball, it was going everywhere. And you know what? It could have been just him getting used to the wind, but Bo threw better passes than he did, and there was an interception there, and you know what? Honestly, a good football play from the Ticats. I think it was Desmond Talbert who intercepted the ball, so that was a good play on him. Props to him. Credit where credit is due. But that first quarter, like I said, not the greatest first quarter in Saskatchewan Roughrider football, but the second quarter got a little bit better. I think we went up 19. That second quarter was great to watch. It was great football from the Riders. I believe the touchdown from Dante was in that second quarter there, and that was absolutely gorgeous. That was great route running by Myers, and drew it up perfectly, and Harris drops a diamond. Wow. Wow. I don't think you get any more perfect than you can. Any more perfect than they did there. Like I was saying, I said it on the Green Zone earlier, and I added Joe Robustelli. Robustelli was making plays. Tommy Neal made plays. This receiving core is insane. It's really good, and I'm still Harris over Bo. Harris over Bo. And maybe I'm biased. Actually, no, scratch that. I totally am biased, but if I wasn't, I'd be Harris over Bo, which makes no sense. But still, Harris over Bo. But yeah, no, that second quarter, that really, they started clicking and on all cylinders of the game, and when you have that great interception, but I think it was Tavon who intercepted the ball too, and made up for that penalty. And after that interception, right? I'm gonna say this. I don't think anybody has really pointed it out, but I think Tavon Campbell is quietly becoming one of the best defenders in the CFL. He's becoming one of the best defensive backs in the Canadian Football League, and he only has 3 picks, right? He's got more than Milligan at this point, but he only has 3 picks, which is not leading the CFL, but he's quietly making his way up there. And you see some of the plays he makes. Like I mentioned, that penalty in the first quarter should not have been a penalty. That should not have been a penalty. Bar none. That is stupid. When you have two guys hand fighting, you don't call a penalty there. That was good defense from Tavon Campbell. And, making that interception, he is quietly becoming one of the best defensive backs in the CFL. And you know what? Come back to this at the end of the season, and if he's on a tear, he's on a tear, and y'all can say I was right. You can say you heard it here first from the Reddit review. So, and then I guess, third quarter, that's when we saw some issues. That's when we saw some issues coming in. Namely, Brett Lowther and his field goal kicking. I called into the Green Zone postgame show, as I do after almost every game. I think I missed 1 or 2 games this season calling in, but Lowther is struggling. Really, really struggling. Now, here's the issue. We need to bring in another kicker, right? And I'm on the side of everybody else who's looking at this team from a distance saying, bring in a kicker. You got to do it. But the issue is you can't. You can't bring in a kicker and start putting pressure on Brett Lowther at this time in the season when you have a good thing going, when you are 8-1. You can't. Because Brett Lowther, regardless of whether or not he's making field goals, he is a leader in that locker room. And it is just unfortunate what is happening right now with him. I don't know what it is. Maybe he's lost his touch. You know what? Maybe you let him go this offseason, you bring in a new kicker. Maybe that's what you do. But you can't change that locker room at all. It cannot happen. Because you know what? If we make a change and we lose our game to Calgary, where is it going to go? It's going to go back to that change. You brought in another kicker. You put pressure on Brett Lowther. Brett Lowther spiral, and we don't have that leader. So, like I said, I'm with you. I think we need to bring in another kicker, but we can't. We can't bring in another kicker. It's just, you don't mess with what you have. If you have an 8-1 football team, you don't mess with that 8-1 football team. Does not matter if it's special teams. Now, fourth quarter, I think that's where it ramped up, and you know what? Our run game looked solid. I love seeing Tommy Neal in there. I was scared for a second that Trev was pulled out because of spotter, but you know what? Tommy Neal's in there, ran the ball. We ran the ball down their throats, and again, I'm going to say I want to issue an apology, sincerely, my own personal apology, to number 45, AJ Ouellette. Throughout the entire game, I was saying, this guy, he's not ran for a loss. He's not been tackled for a loss yet. And sure enough, I think it was 5 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. Bang, tackle for a loss, and I jinxed it. My dad called me out on it. And that is my bad. Sorry, AJ. I feel so bad about that. I'm not going to say crap next game. But yeah, no. Our running attack was amazing. And I mean, Mario Anderson got in there a few times. I think he got in there once or twice, and he ran really well. So, can't be disappointed in that. But yeah, I want to touch on. I guess I want to give you guys my predictions for next week's tilt against Calgary on Saturday. I think it is. So, I like this trend of the Riders. They haven't given up a touchdown in 8 straight quarters, meaning 2 games. So, I like the way this defense is trending. I think we can do it. Yes, VA is a good quarterback. I think we can play the bend, don't break. But, it was 6 against Montreal, 9, because Hamilton scored an extra field goal. I got Calgary scoring 12. And I feel like they're going to be all field goals, because I feel like this defense is going to stand up And this defense, after the way they started, I think they're going to come out and they're going to come swinging. That is what they're going to do. So I think the defense is going to hold them to 4 field goals. Now, I don't think the Riders are going to outscore the Calgary Stampeders as bad as they did both the Tiger Cats and the Alouettes, because Calgary's defense is phenomenal. You know what? You got to give them their flowers. They are a great defense. So, you know what? It was 3 touchdown passes against Hamilton. I got 3 touchdown passes. It's 21. I got 21-12 in favor of the Riders. And now we're gonna knock on wood right here. I got wood right in front of me. But I hopefully have a Saskatchewan Roughriders win. Hopefully move to 9-1, because if we move to 9-1 and we come out swinging 3 straight wins off a bye week, I don't think there's any stopping us. Because if we win against Calgary, I'm guaranteeing. I'm saying this right now. If we win against Calgary, because I'm not guaranteeing this win against Calgary. Calgary could come out. They could come out because VA's he's a good quarterback. If we win against Calgary, I'm guaranteeing a sweep of the Banjo Bowl in the Labor Day Classic. That's what I'm going to say right now. I'm putting it in 3 weeks early. That's what's happening. So, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Like, comment, share. Tell all your friends. Make sure you guys go stream my album. My album, Time of My Life, is out right now. It's on all platforms that you listen to music on, so please go give it a stream. I would appreciate it. The link is in the description. And I'll see you guys next week after the Riders, hopefully, I'm praying after the Riders, hopefully, move to 9-1 and are still the best team in the CFL. Peace.